Hey everyone, it's Dan. Now, I want to do this kind of test stream because I just set up OBS and I figured, why the hell not? Let's do something fun. Just to see how things run. Because maybe I'm thinking of doing some live streams in the future. Maybe doing some collabs, but I decided, today would be a perfect time to test it. Well, because I just got the damn thing, so why not? Now, because I don't want to waste a good test stream with, blah 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 blah, or just doing this. I figured I go into a topic I wanted to go into for a long time. I know sounds very new agey and hippie, but balance. As you can see, kind of by the scales behind me, I am a firm believer in the concept of balance. Now, I'm not talking about like the whole like Avatar thing, bring balance to the four elements. Although I kind of see what that is. I'm talking about the idea that many people don't get is the concept of balance in both personal and like political and social aspects. Now, a simple thing I could tell you about is that, believe it or not, we all kind of do seek balance. The best example of that is when it comes to jobs and hobbies. Now, people who are in very high stress jobs, like bomb technicians or even soldiers, will sometimes do hobbies that are not as stressful. For instance, a soldier during his off time, let's say he's an infantryman, might choose to read a book because it's quieting. It allows him to decompress because it's a form of it's a certain kind of order because you know that the page start. This is the beginning of the book and this is the end of the book. Brings a certain relaxation to an otherwise chaotic world. Now, in reverse of that, you may have like an accountant, someone who's dealing with that, or dealing with really rigid things, or an office worker who's like, we're here from A to B, this time. What will they do? They'll go do surfing or they'll play first person shooters. Why? Because there's a certain amount of chaos, there's a certain amount of freedom instead of being just this locked thing. And again, it's liberty. It feels good because, like, aha, you see, I have no control, and it gets that adrenaline running. Whereas, again, the soldier or the bomb technician's always got that adrenaline running during work, so it's nice to not be always on edge. And that the balance again goes further to stuff that we wouldn't think of, or you might have thought of as like political balance. And that's the whole if you live in the U.S., you see things swing from conservative to liberal and back, or maybe more accurate now is Democrat to Republican, and that's that's what I always find funny is that people are like, oh, for instance, when Trump got, oh, it's like 4 to 8 years. The country, when we go for one side, we kind of say, well, we need to get balance back, and it's not like everyone does this. It's already in the middle. It's those who are actually closer to the balance, the centrists, who are more willing to go, this guy isn't so good. I think we should get rid of hit this party out of power and go with the other party. And the fun part of that is we're like, oh, well, they just sit out in the center. Well, truth is, as you may know, most centrists are off to one center. They're not like a scale, and more like a knife edge. See, if you ever held a knife or any kind of blade, you'll know that the balance point is not the exact center of the blade, but somewhere closer to the hilt. Why? Because most of the weight is located in the hilt, and because the blade is tapered. So, for most people, that's how things work. They're more to one side or another, but they are close to a certain extent to the center. And I think that's an important part in life to know, because that'll kind of tell you when more people are to one edge than the other, and how that's the kind of moral zeitgeist. That's how things will flow. Now, why am I talking all about this kind of, you know, tippy dippy kind of thing? Well, I want to kind of bring up a a thing back to the balance in life. Now, that's not just balance in the current life, but balance throughout life. Now, what I'm thinking is why we have social justice. This is gonna get well, is some of these people didn't have the balance of the can see. I think some of these kids who are now, social justice, evergreen college type kids, didn't have any discipline. They didn't have any structure to balance them. You see, in life, you need a mixture of freedom and structure. Now, either my thoughts are either they had too much and they're completely out of bounds, or they had too much and they're rebelling against the structure. They're going, they're like Catholic schoolgirls. They're like, well, mom and dad were uber conservative, and I'm just gonna go and rebel and make penance. I mean, you see that with like people like Jonathan McIntosh, who's probably had a really strict father, who's like, men are taught to be mean and tough, and no, motherfucker, it's not how it works. I mean, I'm probably gonna do a whole video on the why hardcore feminists talk about uh, and hate the concept of masculinity and femininity. Romeo Lena did a great video on why they seem to hate femininity, and from my view is when it comes to that is they don't understand that there's a balancing act. Again, go back between for femininity and masculinity, and I'm not talking about them. So they're on their own separate spectrum. They deal with men and women. For instance, freaking Macintosh, like, oh, men are taught not to be caring and nurturing. I'm like, really? You never heard of mentors? You never heard of father figures? You never heard that concept of the father to whose men, the captain who leads a troop into battle, but he makes sure all of them are good and ready to go because he doesn't believe in disposable unit. He believes that, hey, these are each people and they have lives, and I want them to do well. And in fact, it's been proven that a lot of people, when they feel like they're important to like their boss or whatever, they tend to do better. They tend to like, hey, he cares about me, and I got to show him that I'm doing my best. And that is kind of also balanced out with the being slightly harsh to them. There's tough love. So there's again the balance of and this and again I'm going on a completely out there rant because I don't know why I figured it would be fun to do so because well, testing and making sure everything works is fun. And I don't know, it was fun to do this. I mean, I could go on and on about balances. I mean, you could talk about how the government has checks and balances, and in fact, that is needed even in personal life for a rational human being to grow up. You need to have mommy and daddy, or maybe a mom figure or a dad figure, depending on how you're raised. You need someone to basically give you both sides. You see, while masculinity and femininity are not inherent, aren't completely in both of us, to see both sides is important. I mean, best example I've heard is that kids growing up with at least a father and mother figure tend to turn out better because at least for guys, having a dad teaches him how a man should act. You know how an honorable man and helps a girl interact with a male better. But I think that's a big problem. That's something else I should be talking about for a later time. I mean, I could also go into the fact that people aren't in balance when it comes to their emotional versus their rational side. That What?